That's a good spot. Okay.
So how long does one of these normally last when you record it?
The same amount of time as a haircut. Just for the duration of the haircut. That's all.
Gotcha.
It's just like any other normal haircut day.
It buzzed that one back spot up there, a little colic, a little tight this time.
Your little colic back here.
Yeah, it was giving me fits this year. I don't know.
I can see it sticking out.
Yeah. It's like those coarse eyebrows, they just don't behave. And retirement party I went to last weekend was really nice. Turned out good. Saw some people I hadn't seen in a while that had been retired. It was really good to catch up with people.
How long had it been since you've seen everybody?
Some of the ones that have been retired have been, a couple of them have been almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And they came because the guy that retired out had 39 years. So, I mean, some of the people that, kind of brought us up when we were kids.
Aw.
Now we're the old guys.
But you still feel like the young guy, right?
Well, one guy, I mean, you know me, I probably don't act my age anyways, Jess.
Are you going to have a party for your retirement?
Yeah, I'm going to probably have a party. I'll invite the family, the kids, and my brother said he'd make a trip up for sure. So, they do something down there for you, and, it's kind of, they put money towards it, then you just invite, the friends and people, whatever have you, and so. He had a nice turnout. I don't know if I'd have that much, turnout. Don, he's pretty vocal, pretty straight.
Who, you?
Yeah, just me, yeah. Call it as I see it.
I would go to your retirement party.
Well, you're invited. How's that?
Great. I just invited myself, too.
Got a few more years, though.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes by quick.
Well, it's kind of like I was telling some of the younger people there. I says, you look back and you say, each day in itself sometimes just seems like is this day going to end like an eternity? But then you look back as a whole and it flies by. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll be 37 years there this year in May.
That is crazy. That's longer than I've been alive.
I mean, and I think we're probably, not all of my generation has, done this type of thing, but I don't think you're going to see in future generations that type of thing anywhere.
No, I agree. I think it's, like, you see a lot of the younger ones, and everybody's mostly independent.
Well, and everything is, like, portable now, Jess, with, the 401ks, and everything travels with you, right? And
401k, what's that?
It's 401 with a K after it.
What's that? Even in my field, that was never, like, a thing. Actually, I take it back. I had worked for a company, they offered that.
See, I haven't chatted with Danielle. I mean, I got to ask Danielle what she's doing for herself, because you got to start planning when you're young, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, because you got to have something that's going to build and do whatever have you for you.
Or you just expect to work the rest of your life.
I hope that's not the case. I always wanted better for my kids than what I had for myself, and I think it's going to be hard with today's society for sure.
Well, and I think most of my generation, too, and younger, like, you just don't think that you're going to get old, and you think that you're always going to be able to work, and things happen.
I was where you were once, kid, and now look where I'm at.
Yeah, but you're
like I say, it's a blink of an eye, too, and next thing you know, I see it now where my kids are age-wise. It's like, because, as a whole, and you see yourself every day, I don't think of myself as, being old or whatever have you, but in respect to where my kids are, I still think about where I was, memories back in my 30s.
Right.
It's really weird, and I mean, I don't know if you have this too, but when you see pictures of, like, the grandkids and, and your own kids when they were younger, and you see them now, it's like, really puts it in perspective.
Well, you stay the same age, they just grow up.
Yeah.
I can always remember hearing that. We stayed the same, you just got older.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, I seen this quote somewhere. It said, when you're young, you spend all this time growing up, and you are your main focus, and you don't realize that your grandparents and your parents are also growing old as you're growing up.
Yeah, I notice it more like if I haven't seen my parents in a while, then you stop over and it's like it really sets in, and it's like, oh wow.
Yep.
And I'm sure my kids probably feel the same way about me.
Do either one of your kids have gray hair yet?
Well, not that I know, not that I can tell. I mean, Jordan keeps his, he's pretty dark, and Chris is, kind of got that, I don't know, the sandy blonde, and Danielle does so many different, oops,
Well, she's a
so many
hairstylist,
different
right?
colors. Yeah, eyebrows and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, she does
Yeah.
do hair too. But her clientele is all like brows and makeup and stuff.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, she does. She's done hair in the past, but not like her own. Mostly her mother's. But I think it's that type of job thing. I mean, she's more into like the different colors and pushing the limits, if you will.
Yeah. More creative.
I mean, I see creativeness in you when it comes to, with your nails and stuff like that. You just don't do the hair as much, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, I do, but it's not really, like you said, it's not as creative. I guess you don't really...
Well, I noticed you've been, when you're on the creative thing, you did it with the wigs.
Yeah. That was definitely a phase for me. I
haven't noticed that with you lately. Yeah, you're right. Now that I think about it.
I've been through a lot. I go through a lot of phases like that.
We all have stages and phases, right?
Yeah. Well, with the wigs, I always got like really dressed up for work. Like I would always like do full hair, full makeup, put on like a cute outfit for work. And with the wigs, it was just easier to throw a wig on a day that maybe I overslept or whatnot. So it was almost like I was being lazy when I would wear the wigs. And I like them, but they're not that comfortable.
I was going to ask you if they like made your head itch or anything like that.
After a while, like if I only wore it to go out to dinner or something, that's fine. But yeah, they're not that comfortable. And then you want to take it off. You're working a 10-hour shift. You want to take it off after 5-6 hours, but your hair looks like crap underneath. It's like, oh, what do I do?
You're in it that far, you got to stick it out, girl.
Yeah. And Will doesn't really like it when I wear wigs. He's like, I like your natural hair better. I'm like, that's fine, but once in a while I'll feel a little feisty, throw a wig on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, that's my lazy day. Wearing a wig. But also I noticed since I've been like working from home and staying home, I don't wear makeup like I used to, and my skin now is 100 times better than it used to be. Because I don't wear makeup every day.
Tell you what, I mean, to me that's the recipe of, good skin, whatever have you. If you want to put a little makeup on or, even dress up a little bit, you just go from this, that, but you're a stunner then, it's like...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's, to me, I would rather just somebody jeans and a t-shirt, da-da-da-da-da, and that's where we would go most of our life, just as you were. But, I mean, if you go ahead and dress one out, it's like, whoa, now, the sleeper.
Who is this? Right? Because if you're always dialed up, then when you don't, it's like,
You wonder what they look like without that, right?
That's the I Love Lucy episode where Ricky says, you think you know the face that your wife has when you get married, but there's a totally different face underneath that face.
I do say, though, that woman, I mean, most of the shows were a lot black and white, but she was a good-looking woman for a redhead, Lucille Ball.
And what's funny is she was almost so funny that her beauty was overlooked because of how funny she was.
Yep.
I love a good.
Those old reruns are funny.
They're still funny to this day.
Yep. Well, those are the timeless classics, right?
Mm-hmm.
The chemistry and all that between her and Desi Arnaz, and what was the other two?
Ethel and Fred. Yep.
Yeah. They just had a chemistry, right?
I agree. Did you know that Fred in I Love Lucy, he was a really bad alcoholic?
Yeah.
He was known to be a bad alcoholic, and when Lucy and Desi, they were doing their because they were the producers of that show, they wanted to hire Fred. And Desi told Fred that he's not allowed to drink on set because he was known to be problematic in Hollywood. And he said, you can't be caught with any alcohol while you're filming. He says, afterwards, I don't care. But before and during, absolutely not. You'll be fired on the spot. So he never drank while on set or before. So in episodes, when you see, which is rare, you'll see him take his hand out. And when his hand is not in his pocket, you'll see it shake because of the tremors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was one where he put a gun, like a fake gun on somebody, and you could just see the gun was shaking. Otherwise, if you keep it, now you'll notice this, because I said something, his hands are typically in his pockets.
Oh, wow, I didn't really pick up. It's like you talk about that, and I never really knew it about, the, what's his face, Chandler on Friends. He was a big, had problems with drinking and, the other drugs too. And he was saying that he could watch himself in the old shows and tell when he was doing,
Really?
drinking, when he was on a drinking thing. And then I don't know if it was pills or, the other stuff stronger. But when he was skinny, he was doing the one. When he was drinking, he was heavier.
I could see
And,
that.
and he wanted to be more known for his, his overcoming that and the people that he helped rather than just being the guy on Friends.
Yeah. No, I could see that.
But yeah, it's kind of weird, people that were like part of our everyday lives growing up. And then like you say, I find this out about Fred and that after, he passed away, that came out about him too.
Yeah.
And I guess it was really noted that Jennifer Aniston and him were very good friends because she was the one that helped him a lot to get into some of the recovery stuff up front and pointed it out that she could smell it on him.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for her. Were you a big Friends person? Did you watch Friends a lot?
I still watch it to this day. So, I mean, I literally went back. Chris gave me access to his one account, and I started Friends all the way from season 0 all over again. I'm up to like season 5 or 6 now. I'm in the middle of those, but yeah, I'm a big Friends fan.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up, and my kids, remember that because it was on when they were little.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to move the camera and try to get...
I'm trying to remember his real name, Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry.
Yeah, that really hit me.
He had a book.
Yeah. It kind of was really something when you look at the age that he was at and when things start hitting, in your area, age-wise.
Yeah.
Because he was 54.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So young.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is when you're younger, you think that that's actually old.
Right.
Like my stepdaughter Will's going to turn 50 this year. She's like, I can't believe he's that old. Dad doesn't seem like he's that old to me. I'm like, what's funny? 50 is not old. But if you're talking to somebody who's 4 years old, 50 is ancient. If you're talking to somebody who's 94 years old, 50 is a baby,
Mm-hmm. Well, it was like, I had to put in perspective, last weekend, the one guy was 82 years old, and he told me how young I looked, and I said, well, thank you. But, there was somebody from their perspective who was, whatever have you. But I have had people tell me that they're like, I can't believe you're the age that you're at because I would never put you there.
No, I wouldn't either.
And then like, I can't believe, you got kids or whatever have you. And I'm just like, yeah, well, I mean, I know I don't act 57 half the time.
I think that's what it is. You're so young at heart that it shines through.
But the body, I mean, there's times when I can tell, but ever since now the knee has been done, I feel much better to where doing the things that I
That
used
makes
to
me so
do. And
happy.
now my brother's got to have one now. He's telling me.
Really?
Yeah, his is. They gave him a cortisone shot, but he's got to
But that's
schedule
what
one
they
too.
do. They shot, and then physical therapy, and then okay, fine, I
That's
guess.
why I liked my doctor. When I went over to him, he was like, I can do this for you, I can do that for you, but all I'm doing is prolonging the surgery that's going to help you.
Exactly. And now you have so much more relief
Yep.
post-surgery, which
Well, there's
makes me
people that are like, they're just like, I can't believe how well you're moving around. And I think there's just something to the fact that old enough to get the surgery, young enough still to recover okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, I watched my mother, she had a little harder time recovering.
Well, she's in her 80s, too.
Yeah, she'll be 80 this year, yeah. And she just had the disc, which is more minimally invasive than what I had. But, like you said, the recovery at that age, it's harder on you.
Right, exactly.
That's why if I get this next one, I know it's coming down the stairs today. The right one was a little bit, but the right one is not near the degree as the left one was. But I don't want to wait too long to where, I'm going to be older and have a harder time recovering.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you've already got the one done, so you do have a rough idea of what to expect.
Right. Now, the right leg, the only thing they do is you got one more week that they ask you not to drive or do anything because, the right leg is the gas pedal and the brake.
Well, that makes sense.
So, that would be the only different thing about it. Other than that, the recovery piece is the same way. I don't know, how if you feel this way or not, but, it's one thing being right-handed versus left-handed, and if you had to have something done to your right arm, it would really be something for you, but one leg over the other, it's not like a right leg.
It's not right. That is true, but
Yeah.
I would assume that we have a dominant side. Because even sitting, we put more pressure on one side than the other. Like right now, are you perfectly balanced sitting down?
Probably not.
Do you notice that you have more pressure on one side than the other?
Maybe a little bit more on the right, but maybe it's, I've favored the left a little bit for a while because of the surgery.
Right.
But I do say, when you lead out or I'll go to basketball or whatever have you, for some reason when you go to start out like for a layup or you just start to run, I seem like I lead with my left. Now, I don't know if that's normal or not.
I don't know. But you're right.
And you go off your left leg when you're right-handed to, for a layup and stuff like that.
No, I haven't done a layup in so long.
All right, Josh, let's get the basketball. Go out. We'll test you.
I gotta get a basketball first.
As the snow flies outside.
So back to the Friends thing. Did you see the movie Leave the World Behind on Netflix?
I don't think so.
No, Julia Roberts.
I don't think so. Leave the World Behind, huh?
Barack Obama, I guess, produced it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good?
It's... It wasn't good, it wasn't bad. It's a different kind of movie. But it ended with, Friends was actually kind of like a big part of the movie. Their daughter, who was 13, was obsessed with the show Friends, and then they go on this vacation, and the Wi-Fi goes out, all the internet connection is cut off, and the daughter still has, like, one final season of Friends, or the last episode of Friends left to watch, and it's driving her nuts. She's got to finish Friends. She's got to finish Friends. She doesn't know how it ends. And, her brother kind of makes fun of her, like, why do you care? Why do you care? And she says, well, I care about them. I care about the characters, who are people that don't even technically... These characters are false. They're not real people,
Right.
It's not a reality show. And then it kind of ends in the same way, like, wait a minute, we cared about these characters. We're left with wanting to know more.
Right.
Yeah, it's different. I'll say this, I didn't look at my phone while watching the movie. So it kept me interested. It was different. It's almost like an apocalyptic style movie.
There's a new movie out with Kaylee, is it Kuko or Kwako or whatever? The one that played on The Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang Theory.
The one
The
that
cute
was Penny?
girl?
Yeah, the one was Penny.
Yeah.
So she just had a new movie out. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it's on Prime. I watched it the other day and it was actually pretty good. She had like a double life thing going on, and she was a real life assassin.
She
And
was?
yet she was leaving the profession,
Okay.
becoming. She actually had a double life as a mother and a wife and all this, and it came back where the lives ended up intersecting.
Really?
It's pretty good.
That sounds interesting.
It was pretty good. So I mean, if you just Google like the 2023 Kaylee, whatever movie,
Yeah.
you'll probably get it. I mean, something behavior or something like that. It was pretty
Interesting.
good. So, yeah, there's I think I remember reading something about the one that you talked. I might have like seen it and read like the captions. I do remember that one with the Julia Roberts and the kid. Now that you explained or whatever have you, but
Yeah, it was different.
but I watched like the Friends reunion one before he passed, and then they had some things on after. They really became lifelong friends
That is
from
cool.
that show, and they were talking about if their paths intersected, like in the Hollywood circle, or they crossed paths at get-togethers. They literally anything else that happened didn't exist, and they just sat down and they spent the rest of the night together talking,
Aww.
catching up, and it was. I guess they were all that way,
That's cool.
and it's just like, they had such an everlasting connection. And I think I've heard things with like Seinfeld and that being that way too. Just some of those things, and that's another show that just has timeless type stuff, right? I mean, you could watch that stuff and just laugh. That, The Office, it's just certain things, that you just.
See, I've never seen The Office, but I've always heard references to Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And I've seen maybe a couple episodes of Seinfeld.
I've watched some of them off and on, but not like I did Friends. And then The Office just kind of had that real quirky type humor with that Steve Carell, but he's funny. I mean, one of my favorite movies that I have is that one where he's the spy and it's Anne Hathaway's in there. What the heck is the name of that movie? I bought the DVD. I liked it so much. And Dwayne The Rock Johnson's in there too. I'll have to Google it or whatever after I get done. But yeah, it's where he's a spy movie, and he's like has the cone of silence. Remember when he does the cone of silence?
It's a funny movie,
Yeah,
right?
it's a real funny movie. Oh god, and it's so simple too. It was made off of like one of the real spy movies, but they kind of he did the cone of silence, the whole 9 yards. Oh god, it wasn't Inspector Gadget. It was something. It was real fun.
Inspector Gadget.
I always liked the cartoon of that show when I was growing up as a kid.
Who's the? Oh, I'm thinking of the Pink Panther guy.
Well, there's two good movies there. The Steve Martin, right? Yeah, he redid that one. I like the redo better than I like the original.
Steve Martin to me is a little. He creeps me out because I feel like he's got a little bit of a vampire vibe going on. Because that man has been in his 70s since I was a child.
Yeah. He's been around for a while.
Forever, but when I was a kid, he was old. And like now, he's still, old.
Still has the same look.
But he still looks the same.
His hair is whiter, probably is the only thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Father of the Bride.
Didn't he have the moment he did all the kids, too, from the different families?
Yeah, Cheaper by the Dozen. So, Father of the Bride and Cheaper by the Dozen are both remakes from 1950 movies.
Okay, that makes sense.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, Elizabeth Taylor was the bride in the original Father of the Bride. And it is almost, other than like modern things that were put in the 90s version, almost to the T of the 1950s version. And then Andy Garcia is the new Father of the Bride in the newer movie that just came out a couple years ago, which was really cute. Because I think it was like two like Hispanic families that married each other, maybe Mexican and Colombian or something like that, similar.
Is it Mexican what?
Andy Garcia.
Yeah. He
played the father.
See, he's Italian, right?
No, I don't think so. But he was in The Godfather because Garcia is. That's a Latino Hispanic last name. But he played in The Godfather.
Yeah, what, Al Pacino in there too, right?
Yeah, that was my first crush ever.
Al Pacino?
Al Pacino.
He's done a lot of movies. Was it just him that had a kid a little while ago, or was that De Niro?
Yeah, and both of them did.
Yeah, wow.
Both of them. How is your
real
juice?
Late in life, right?
They're 80s. Mm-hmm. How is your juice still ripe? Come on!
The juice was worth the squeeze.
I don't... Fuck that shit. Even so, like, yeah, they're kids.
You just dropped the effort.
I can drop the F-bomb now.
Okay.
We're 26 minutes in. How is that? Come on.
I don't know.
Make that make sense. I would not... I'm different, though. Yeah, the kid will be financially set for the rest of its life. But you can give me $1 billion right now. You can fucking keep that money. I would rather grow up the way I did with 2 parents in the household.
Yeah. How long is he literally going to be around? You're right.
I don't know, unless you get some of that vampire juice from Steve Martin.
Vampire juice.
Telling you, he's a vampire.
Oh,
conspiracy theory.
He's been in so many different types of movies too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some are a little bit more to the serious, funny, then just the outright goofy ones like the Pink Panther, where he's Clouseau.
And The Jerk.
Yeah.
He's so bad, it's good. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, isn't he in that one too?
Yes, yeah, the one with John Candy, right?
Yep. How did John Candy die?
I know it had to do with his weight and diet.
Heart attack?
Yeah, I'm not really sure if it was a heart attack or a stroke or what it was.
He didn't do drugs, right?
I don't think so, no.
That was the other one.
He was good in that one. He was good in that Canadian Bacon. He was funny, and I always liked him in Uncle Buck.
Oh, yeah, classic.
The one where he had the kid, the girl, and then her boyfriend's name was Bug. Oh, he was hilarious in that.
Ooh-wee. Looking good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I had a good canvas to work on. Alright. And that's all she wrote for this podcast. Hey.